On va vous asseoir pour le... Voilà. Non, non, restez assis comme ça, face à la caméra. Voilà. Okay. Hello, nice to meet you, Valerie. So we have a young lady of 51 years old. She have an adjust control, a dried skin, and we will make a full face with bio NUTRI to regenerate the dermis and make a mini lift effect. So we will do it now. I mean that I will create some vector on the face with the cannula to lift the skin. I will use the property of the cannula, and like that the forces will lift it. And between my lines I will make an injection on INCTF 135 HA to amplify the rejuvenation with the 59 product of the NCTF, and we will have a very nice rejuvenation with that treatment, with that protocol. Okay? So I start. The first thing I will do to make a full face, it's to impact the temple, to have the volume, to help to make the lift. I will do it in deep impact. The only danger is the artery. If we do it very slowly, we can't touch the artery because she will be able to move. Now I have doing it, and now I make my injection. I am using for that injection volume because I need to project the muscles and the temple, and the best product to do to it is the more cross-linked product of the art filler game. It's the volume. And that's very interesting because in a deep plane, it can stay on place and have a very nice effect for more than 80 months. So it's a long results for the patient. Yes. On that patient, I will use the 1.2 milliliters of the syringe. I've put the most part in the temple, and now I will make the injection on the cheekbones to make the joint between the two parts. And with only one syringe, I can make one side. Before to do it, when the syringe at only 1 milliliters, we need to use two syringe, and that's 0.2 are very important because we just need one to do that gesture. So now you can see that I just have to press a little to join the two parts, and yeah. The most important thing of that volume is it's very easy to press and to use. We make no effort to make the injection, and also it's very easy to move. When you inject it and you press your volume, it's very easy to move it to make the joint. When I do it before, it's a little bit big, and I just have to press a little to join the two parts. Yes, that's right. That's right. Yes, I use the needle in the boxes. They are just perfect to do the job. No, you can see her. She don't move, and it's very, very quiet. It's not painful. The only way when you inject the temple, you must have to do it very slowly because if you do it too fast, it can be painful because it's too fast. So you just have to take time to do it. That's the only way. Yeah. Yes, that's just to have a protection against the artery, because an artery it's dangerous to inject, and if you do it very slowly, you can't impact the artery. So you just have to take time. Okay, for the cheekbones. Oops. You see, my needle is just at 2.5 milliliters under the skin. She have less dermis on that part, and the injection is very important to open the look. Because we want to have a young face. She have an adjust contour, and if we want to have nice results, we must have to make some reverse engineering. And when a face be older, the first place on the face who lose the material are the temple and the cheekbones. And you see, now I do it, and that part is upper now. Now I will show you the BioNutri lift. I will make an entry point on the cheekbones, and I will go to the nasolabial fold. I will use a cannula, and to use a cannula, my entry point will be due with a little bit of xylocaine. Like that, it will be more comfortable for the patient. Uh, my cannula, it's a 25 gauge, and I use a 60 long cannula because I have to make long vectors on the face. Oops. 60 millimeters. 6 is very, very short. Okay. You see now, you can see my cannula on the face, and I just have a small lane retro injection, and don't put too much product. It's the mechanic. I am using the art filler fine lines because I don't want to put volume on the cheek. I only want to initiate the rejuvenation and to create with the mechanic effect the lift effect. That's the first part. And now I will use the NCTF 135 HA to inject in between the fan, and like that the free HA in the NCTF can be under the skin, and in that protocol I work between the dermis and between the layer, the underlayer. I am between the fat and the fibrosis layer, and these two layers will be like a tank for the NCTF. Like that, with the time, the dermis can use the product to generate the rejuvenation effect. Yeah. Yeah. In that situation, not so much. You can see that I just see half of a syringe to make that part, and I will use the other part to do the other face. So, yeah, yes, of course. In that situation, she have not a so dry skin, so I will use just one bottle of NCTF. That means 3 milliliters of product for the two sides on that situation. Hmm. Okay. So I just make on that patient one entry point because you see that we have the lift effect. If we needed to have more results, we can make a second entry point on that place on the up on the angle of the mandibular, and we can fan like this to make the leak effect. But you can see that we have now nice results, and with my long cannula, I am able to treat all that hemiface. So I will not need to make the second entry point on that situation. Hmm? Uh, we don't need to do it. We just put more NCTF in that situation, and I will use one bottle of products on each side. We don't need to use the universal. I only use in the BioNutriLift protocol universal. It's when I want to make the treatment of the hand, the back of the hand, because I will need more volume, more projection, and universal, it's a more cross-linked product, and I will use it to the hand. But on the face, usually you can see the result is very nice, and we don't need to use universal on that place. I will use now to treat the tear through on that patient with universal. Yes. Universal. Okay, so on that patient, I will show you a Tickpan tricks. You see on her look, it's a little bit deep, and I will work with the cannula, and I will go in the tear straw, but in the down part of the tear straw, and I will work with the universal of art filler. And I put a little bit of product here, and now I press to make it grow in the part that I want to cure. Yes, I use the same cannula because on that part you have the second part of the nervus, the trijumeau, and it's dangerous to work with a needle. And the benefit to work with the cannula is that you can go a few times to have a perfect result. To work on that part of the face, you must have to have a patient sitting, never lying. So we just still have a little part to finish and to have a very nice job. And I will use the art filler fine line now to make the joint between the universal and the fine line. Like that, it will be a very precise result. Where? Oh, on that case, it's very, very less. Uh, for the first point, I use just 0.3 to make the beginning of the treatment. And you see, at the first time, I have my cannula on that place. And now, because I have universal to make the joint, I will work near the down part of the tear through. I use fine lines now. Okay? Nearly to the same plane, but under the dermis. You always. And when I do the correction, I just stop at 85 or 90% because the hyaluronic acid can catch water. And if you have a perfect result at the end of your job, a few days after, it can be too much. So always under correct, and we will see the patient a few times after 1 week or 10 days. And if we need it, we just have to make the small injection to have a perfect result and never do the 100% result at the first time. Alors, l'anesthésique de l'autre côté. On est dans les temps. Okay, you can see the difference because one eye is treated and the other. So I do my entry point. Just to be under the place where I want to work only, and to stay in the tear through, to put some volume. And in that situation, when you do that, you with sorry, I'm looking for my entry point. Okay. When you inject hyaluronic acid universal of Filorga on that place, you can also make the treatment of the nasolabial folds. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. I, I, I I love it because it's very easy to inject. You have always the same result. It's when you learn to do it after, it's easy to do the same thing. And it's also the only product I know to make rhinoplasty. It's the best of all. I have tried a lot of them, and it's the first product I have in my hands to do that job so easily. Ah, yes, of course, and nothing else. So you see, when I have made the injection on that place to make the treatment of the tear through, I have also make the treatment of the nasolabial folds. Because with the time, all the falling down, when you put the product on the good place, not so much, you can treat a lot of problems in one time. J'ai besoin de fine. J'en ai passé. Mm-hmm. Yes, we always work from up to down. Yes, I finish the treatment with the fine lines, and you see the first time I stay in that plane. Now I can go a little bit upper to work because I have the fine line, I have the universal to make the joint venture between the product. And you see we have a very, very nice result. Ok, posez votre doigt là-dessus. Très bien. Maintenant, il me faut l'universal. Now, I will make the treatment of the marionette lines to finish the down part of her face. And, oups, l'anesthésique. Merci. On devrait être bon. C'est pas fait. I will do my entry point on the chin. Press a little bit of anesthesia. Yes. I will use the universal product to treat the marionette lines, and with one entry point, I will show you that I can do the treatment first here at the down part of the marionette line. And also, the edged contour face is here a little bit marked. Yes, always cannula. I use needle only in deep treatment, and when I stay in the upper part, because of vascular and nervous danger, the cannula is very safe, and also it's possible to make 1, 2, or 3 times the same thing without danger for the skin and for the vessels. If with a needle you need to come back, at each time you go in the skin, you can have problems with vessels. In this part, we have the third part of the facial nervus and the facial artery. So if you use a needle on that part, it can be dangerous for the patient. So, yes. No, you see that to make the full face of that patient, I have used 2 syringes of volume, 2 syringes of universal, and 1 syringe of fine line for a complete full face with a Biono NUTRI lift. And it's not a lot. Yeah. Oh, for the Biono lift, you just need 1 bottle of NCTF and 1 syringe of fine lines, and it's not expensive. You can do that protocol for a young lady who have just a nicer skin very fast and a small leaf effect. So it will be very easy to do. It just takes you 10 minutes and with a very, very nice result. And I use that protocol in that situation because I make a full face and I want to have a skin better because all the volume are younger and I can't stay with an old skin in that situation. And it helped me to make the lift of the face. Okay, now it's finished and we will sit down the patient. Look at the camera. You can zoom. Yes. On the upper lips. The fine line is the perfect treatment for the upper lips. Just because we have no time, I don't do it, but if you give me 2 minutes, I can do it to show it to you. Huh? We have time. So I will show you the upper lip with a line. Okay, no problem. So for the upper lip, don't forget that you have a small artery just here at the corner of the lips. So it's dangerous to try to inject on that place. You must have to be a little bit far from here. So I will be in the nasolabial folds to do that. Oops. And yes, always. It's really, really comfortable for the patient because she just feel the entry point, and after that, all it's okay. You see now, I take my cannula, and you see I am on the white lips, and I just have to make the injection of the product, and I use to yes, uh, yes, yes, yes. Why? Because I will use just one cannula to work. It was impressive to work with a big cannula, but if you use to do it and you make an anesthesia with for the entry point, it's absolutely not painful. So, and less, sorry, bigger is the gauge, and more you can have problems with the big vessels. So when you work with a 25 gauge or more, you can't be in danger with vessels. Yes, yes, yes. And you see, when I have made the treatment of the upper lip, I have used my entry point to put just a little bit of product in the nasolabial fold at the beginning of them to make the dilatation of that part. Like that, I have a full treatment on the face of that patient. Oops, I don't see, sorry. Okay, you see, for, hold on. And I have made the treatment of the white. Yeah. Mhm. On what part? Sorry, I did not hear. Repeat, please. Can you repeat your question because I have a problem with my ear? Yes, we can also use the art filler fine lines with a very small needle, and we will work in the superficial dermis, and we will make an injection very, very light to treat the very, very small wrinkle. But you see, in that situation, that's enough. We have finished the job. Yeah. Oh, that's very, very easy to do. We just need to make the projection of that line with the volume. We go contact to the bone, make the injection, and usually it's very nice to make the amelioration of an aged contour because it's making down the chin. You can project a little bit more the down lip and to hide that line. It's very easy to do. I can do it if you want, with pleasure. Okay, à volume. So, the only precaution you have to do if you want the injection of that part, it's to have a look. You try to see that part and to see the projection, because if your needle is not on the right way, you will push and press your product under the mouth. So you just have to look at the lips, put your finger and see if you are really under the dermis and on the bone, and you can work. On that situation, we are limits, so I will change the direction of my needle. Usually, I work perpendicular like that, but in that situation, I will put a little bit more angle. Alors, vous respirez gentiment. Voilà. And now I am on the bone contact, and yes, I touch the bone, and I just have to make the injection. And in that situation, you will see the property of the volume, and that's very important because you can see that it's bigger, and it will not have the good form. And after my injection, I will just have to press to put in place the product to have a very, very nice effect. For the temple and for the chin, we need to have more product to have a good projection. And yes, product consuming, but it's a deep injection. That means that you have a result will stay more than 80 months. So it's not so expensive, and we have a very, very nice result. No, and we are very, very deep. And more deeper we are, less hyaluronidas on the body we have. You see, it's not regular. And that volume have a very, very strong way to make the projection, but it's also able to be pressed and put in place like we want. And you see now, I just press on that part, and we have a very regular chin and a nice projection. We will sit down the patient, and you will see the result now. Alors, on that full face, the only problem that we can have in 20% of the case, it's headache or some difficulties to eat, to open the mouth. And if it's appear, we just have to sell it to the patient and to give her an anti-inflammatory with paracetamol, and to tell her that it will be 48 or 72 hours problems, and after that it will move and there is nothing else. It's a very few time to pass to have a so nice result. Okay, thank you very much. Yes. Moi j'entends plus. C'est bon. Alors vous allez voir le résultat, c'est juste. Vous voyez ce que je vous ai fait, c'est. Hein? J'ai gagné 10 heures. Là c'est énorme.
Ça valait le coup, hein? Puis ça faisait pas mal. J'avais la hantise d'avoir mal. Mais vous avez été super zen, hein? Non, non, mais j'ai été aidée, hein? Et oui. Ça faisait pas mal. C'est vrai que ça impressionne quand on sent la